you've got to be able to carry them off. It's like having confidence painted on you. A lot of people ask if you regret your tattoos. People bet you regret having that done. Well, I don't regret any of them. The only regret I have is that I'm running out of space. I'm Andy, aka the very inky dude.
You're listening to Drive, content driven to inspire. In this first episode, I'll be joined by Andy, tattoo model and NHS frontline worker, or as Andy likes to refer to it, NHS frontline hooligan. Inky Andy, where does that name kind of originally come from?
A couple of people referred to me as a pretty inky looking dude a few years ago, and it's stuck. I like tattoos, yeah, I've got a real passion for them. I don't regret any I've got, and ongoing story. And somebody called me a human doodle the other day. I thought quite fetching.
So how many tattoos have you actually got altogether?
I have no idea. I've got loads that I've never seen. Backs of my arms, back of my head.
Seriously?
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've seen pictures of them, but
yeah.
I've never seen them in the flesh. Yeah, I've no idea. No idea.
Do you remember what your first one was?
Yeah,
and why you got it?
I thought I was a bit of a sort when I was 17. I went to Blackpool with my friend for the day and got a little butterfly on my shoulder. I'm not quite sure why, but it seemed like a good idea at the time. It's been covered since, and covered again, I think, actually.
And did that kind of just snowball into...
It did. It was a bit of a... You didn't sort of do that thing. I was the sort of first person in my gang to get something done. Which followed with a little pair of Rolling Stones lips on the other shoulder at the front, which were done by a mate of mine called Steve. Yeah, bless him.
Have you got a favourite, do you think, over the years?
I've got loads, and it goes in phases. I've got a very small, about as big as a 2p, skull and crossbones on my thumb, which for some reason I've really taken to. A lot of my work is sort of statements, slogans, lyrics, and tributes to various people I've followed over the years. They all mean a great deal to me. And I'm constantly seeing things and thinking, oh, that'll make a good tattoo. I'm just running out of space a bit now, though.
Do you think they've kind of opened a lot of doors for yourself?
The amount of difference they've made to me is incredible, absolutely. I dabbled with modelling and promotional work in my sort of late teens, early 20s, and left it alone. And then it's, with the current state of play with modelling and promotional work, you don't need to be sort of 22, and built like an Adonis. A lot of mature models out there, oversized, undersized, all kinds of things. And with the artwork that I've got, I seem to stand out, and it's opened an awful lot of doors for me. Yeah, it really has, especially the facial tattoos.
I noticed you've got a mute tattoo over your ears. So what's the story behind that?
Basically, through years and years and years and years and years of listening to loud music, a little bit of a punk rock situation going on there, loved it. Playing guitar in bands, DJing, clubbing, I've basically blown my hearing out the water. I'm deaf. I've got 70% loss in one side and 50% loss in the other. And it's something that's happened. I wouldn't change it, for the world. A lot of people are quite ignorant to the danger to the hearing from loud music, wearing headphones all the time. I never give it a second thought, but I'm paying the price for it now. But I've got a hearing system, it works well, it's happened, thus I embrace it. No point worrying about it, you can't do anything about it.
And as well with the modelling, what kind of opportunities of your tattoos open to you too?
It started, I was in Dubai, opportunity there to do some work. Again, that was down to the facial work. I was in Marrakesh. Again, lots of women in Marrakesh have tattoos, but not many men. And because I'm just about covered, the interest was quite substantial. Played that well. When came back over into the UK, catwalks, photo shoots, people like it. I don't know. I think if you've got to carry it well. If you're sort of standoffish or arrogant or you're touching on aggressive, your tattoos and your persona and everything takes on a completely new ride. But if if you're a pleasant, warm sort of guy, being a nurse, it's the sort of bloke I am. People like it. They ask me about them all the time. I constantly get stopped by people asking me to take pictures of me. I love it, absolutely.
Do you think it's given you a new kind of found sense of confidence?
It certainly has. Yeah, you need to be confident. I think anybody who's decides to do something out of the ordinary, which is visual, is something that you've got to be prepared that people are going to judge you, people are going to look at you, and I quite like the being judged thing because I like proving people wrong. And again, being a nurse, people look at nurses and they don't see many tattooed nurses, certainly not as many as I've got anyway. And when you're very pleasant, you look after them, it makes a difference. I get people thanking me for the way I've treated them. It's a bit of a buzz. It's good. Yeah, it's good.
Do you feel that when you got that first tattoo, the kind of stereotypes towards and attitudes towards people with tattoos have developed and changed?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm a little bit, like I said, I was heavily into the punk rock thing, and I'm not a great believer in rules. And I believe that as long as you're not hurting anybody and not doing anything stupid like driving on the wrong side of the road, then, rules, I can't say they're made to be broken, but they're not. But there shouldn't be, you don't need rules in gender, in love, in the way you dress, the way you look. As long as you're not offensive, particularly, don't be sort of getting into politics and, I don't know, religion and other bits and bobs. But I'm not a big fan of rules, and I like to do what I do. And I think if people sort of paid more interest in what they do and what they say and what they look like, rather than what people say they should look like and what they say they should do, then I think the world would be a happier place.
Your younger self, say when you were 12, looking at who you are today, what would you have been thinking?
Well, when I was 12, I decided I wanted to be a rock star. And I was convinced that I would be one day, but I'd not quite managed that. But I don't know, I always had a fascination with people, the way people that made a difference. It really sort of came to light when I was in my teens, punk rock came along, and Vivienne Westwood, Sex Pistols, things like that. And when you look at that age in a world of conformity that you've come from, to see that there's potential to live in a world of no conformity within reason, it's really exciting. You make a difference. You make a difference to other people. Make a difference to yourself. Mm.
So, what was the turning point, do you think, where you found your passion for tattoos?
I think basically, I read an awful lot about them. I always liked them. I'm not sure why. I think it was because only bad people had tattoos, and gangsters, and Japanese triads and things like that. And it was just it's like a certain. It gives you new confidence. It's like putting, when you walk into a new situation where nobody knows you, it's like I like turning heads. And it works. It makes you feel confident in yourself. It's also a point of conversation. People ask you about them, what they mean, where you got them, why you got them, which it becomes a bit of a habit. I find that if something happens in my life, I need to sort of make a little bit of a statement about it, and it usually results in a tattoo.
Do you feel that there has to be a meaning behind all of the tattoos? Or
yeah, I do. It does concern me that tattoos, there's a fashion in tattoos, and not that long ago it was tribal tattoos. Everybody had tribal tattoos, and then there was this thing about religious imagery. David Beckham is a big fan. You have a sleeve covered in angels and crosses and Christs and things like that, which, if you want a tattoo because you're religious and you want religious imagery on your arms, all well and good. But if you want a tattoo because you want your arm to look like David Beckham's arm, I don't really see the... Yeah. It's a little bit naff, to say the least. I'd like to have his money and his talent. But, to copy somebody like that, I don't think works. It's got to be something that's meaningful, especially to yourself, because it's you that's carrying it.
Well, because I've never had a tattoo myself and I'm thinking about getting one in the future. But what's putting me off is thinking that down the line I may regret it. So do you ever get that feeling, or how do you overcome that?
I've never once felt any regret for any of my tattoos at all. I don't know, I like sticking two fingers up at society, you know. Behind my ears I've got two hearts with an A on them, which looks like the anarchy sign, but instead of a circle it's a heart. And it's just, like I was saying previously, there's no rules. And, you know, you've got to look after you. You know, you make your own persona. And if you're happy to sit, you know, in the crowd, leaning on the wall like a wallflower, you know, that's for you. It's not for me. If somebody like yourself wanted a tattoo, I would 110% recommend it. And it's like you think, oh, I'll just get a little tattoo. It's the worst thing you can do, because chances are that little tattoo will be on a reasonably large area and it'll wreck the area. You know, one of my friends, a nurse I work with, lovely lad, he's just had a jigsaw piece done, and it's a Queen of Hearts on like a jigsaw piece, and he's had it a reasonable size, and it sits just above his collar behind his ear, and it looks amazing. Whereas if he had the same tattoo a little bit smaller on the underside of his arm, it's a waste of time, you know. Yeah, get in there, kid. Rock it, absolutely. I can recommend a few good tattoos for you.
People are also a bit apprehensive because it affects jobs and relationships potentially. Have you had any issues in that sense?
Not for an awful long time. I remember the late 90s, I was just not long starting my nursing, and I had one of my tattoos were all sort of covered, if you like, by the length of uniform sleeves. And I was told by a charge nurse in the department I was working from that if they'd seen the tattoos at interview, I wouldn't have got the job. Since then, I've had no negativity at all from work. You're a talking point. Also you've got to behave yourself because you're very easy to identify. And if people judge you now, it's them being narrow-minded, their inability to sort of accept diversity and people's preferences for certain body image. You know, you can't be going around, well, you can't do what you want, which is the point really, I suppose. But I wouldn't recommend political, offensive, religious, you know, stupid stuff, which people have had in the past that I have managed not to. I don't know how I did when I was younger, because I probably would have done if somebody bet me or something, but I didn't. But as long as you know, it's art, man. It's good. It's my work, as I say, a lot of it's sort of calligraphy, slogans, statements, but these are things I believe in, you know.
Yeah. And
it's about things I've a lot of time for, about people who I love greatly, you know, and events that changed my life, and go for it. Absolutely, you'll love it. You'll absolutely love it. You get some good work, something you really like, you'll be very proud of it. And you can take it to the grave with your best value anyway.
Yeah.
You're taking it away.
That's true. I'd probably add them on and on and on.
Yeah. You watch. It's like Pringles.
Yeah.
Pop, you don't stop, mate.
You think it's a bit of an addiction then, obviously?
Definitely, because it's a real buzz. It hurts like hell and costs a fortune. But you will get the feeling, you know, it'll make a big difference to you. On a positive way, as long as it's something you really want. You know, you need to think very carefully. That's the only thing I'd say. I've got numerous facial tattoos, and I love them. I absolutely love them. They're only small, but you know, they mean a lot to me, especially like my deafness, like in my mute signs. I've got louder above my ear, which I do care, but I don't care. You know, I care about what matters. You know, and if people choose to judge you for such sort of minor insignificances as the fact that you've got some ink on you, you know, it's a poor do. One of the guys who landed he landed a satellite on a comet a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
He's got loads of tattoos, loads and loads. I thought that was good. I know a couple of doctors at work who've got plenty as well, you know.
What just shows, isn't it, it breaks that stereotype, I think, that traditionally people may have had about tattoos being associated with negative people, and it's...
Yeah, you've got to accept people for what they are. And as long as you're not doing anybody any harm, you're not, you know, causing any problems, then people should, you know, it's an adaptation. Diversity is a big thing. You know, you've got to be sensible about it. You know, people have as much right to do what they want within reason as anybody else. You know, it's good. People see vanity as some sort of crime, especially in sort of male environment. You know, girls are encouraged to be vain, but somebody once said, you know, if you're vainer than your girlfriend, she ain't going to want you. Well, if you don't want me, then she can go away, which happened on numerous occasions. But, you know, vanity's a big thing. You've got to love yourself. If you don't love yourself, nobody else is going to love you.
With your work involved in deaf identity, would you explain a little bit about what they do?
Basically, as I say, it's just like deaf awareness. The garments, the pieces that Luke produces with the sign language slogans on them, are fab quality, really sort of ethical driven products. It's sustainable fashion made from really good sort of products, and you know, there's various statements. He's done one for me. He's only got my name on the back. It just says Andy on the back, but it says it in sign language. And I think that's, you know, it's clever. It's very, very good. Also, as I say, I'm deaf and I don't care.
You're a real inspiration for embracing your body.
Yeah, you've got what God gave you, and it's up to you to make the best of what you've got. You know, we've all got issues, problems. We're all fighting little battles with, I don't know, maybe what's inside your head, or, you know, one of your legs in as long as the other one, or whatever. But you've just got to get on with life. You know, life ain't going to stop and wait for you. So, you know, get in there, do what you can do with what you've got, make the best of yourself. Enjoy life. Life's very, very short.
So aside from deaf identity, are there any other kind of groups that you work alongside with?
I work for a charity called Conduct Change, which is an anti-bullying, anti-toxic workspace or toxic environment charity. They're really switched on. I'm very passionate about anti-bullying. I can't stand it. I was like a Robin Hood when I was at school. I used to like to fight bullies. It always ended up getting my head punched, but it didn't do me any harm. They left me alone, you know. But yeah, I can't abide bullying, and it's rife in so many sort of workplace environments. It's not on. And as I say, Conduct Change, if you Google it, look it up on Twitter, there's some superb links to some really good information and help for anybody who finds herself in that position. Yeah, I'm quite passionate about that, really. I don't like bullies.
It sounds like you work with some really great, inspiring groups.
I do. I like work. I enjoy working. Work hard, play hard. You know, hard work never killed anybody. And if you can, it is a job. But if somebody gave you the ideal job, when you go to work, it's not like being at work. You enjoy it, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know, if I'm quite passionate about various aspects of my life, and the more opportunity I've got to show that and share it with the great British public, I will.
Have you got a dream tattoo in mind that you'd...
I have, my wife hasn't. I'm loving facial tattoos at the minute, and I probably would go a little bit overboard, but happy wife, happy life. You know, I found that out many times now. I'm a massive Alexander McQueen fan. If you've never seen the film Savage Beauty, then you should have. You know, the lad made a big difference to me. Also, his nephew, Gary James McQueen, again, such a cool dude. And they produce such incredible imagery through clothes, various garments, jewellery, scarves, that, you know, you're surrounded by images that would make the most incredible work. Thus, I'm going to adapt something out of somewhere into some... I'm going to get a tattoo that's basically a tribute to the McQueen clan. You know, they mean a lot to me. Absolutely.
With your wife, has she ever had any sort of doubts about your facial tattoos?
Yeah. We have to, when we talk about them, we discuss how big they're going to be.
Yeah.
And usually they can't be any bigger than a 2p, which is fine. But, it doesn't always work out that way. Yeah, she says she likes looking at me and she don't want it to change. And I'll probably run with what she says.
Yeah.
To a point. Yeah, she's a good girl. I was sat in Harvey Nicks the other day in Leeds, and I was in a little meeting with a lovely girl who I've worked with on numerous occasions called Zlata Alenko. She's Russian and a designer. She was at Leeds Uni and she's sort of based up here. And we're chatting away, and this guy approached me, and I can see him approaching me through the corner of my eye, like, what the hell's going on here? Anyway, he just said, "Can I stop you a minute?" And he told Zlata that his exact words were he thought was brilliant because I'd looked after his little lad in hospital.
Oh, amazing.
And well, I've been doing it 30 years, and I bet that's happened twice. You get compliments at work, which is nice, but to be stopped in the street or stopped when you're actually, somebody's taking the trouble to come and make sure that people know that you're doing a good job. It makes a difference. It's nice,
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's teamwork, isn't it? Teamwork makes the dream work. It's a good thing. I as a rule, I'm in charge at work, and I try to just tell them that they're doing well. Give them a break. I'm a great believer in karma. I think that what you give out, you get back, and there's karma's one thing, but also it's something that happens in daily life. What you've got to do is sort of radiate what you want to attract. Vibes attract tribes. If you walk around shuffling about with your head down, you give off no energy. If you're bright and out there and a pleasant person who's got a lot to sort of going on, people are interested in you.
Yeah.
And it rubs off. I worked for Virgin Atlantic for a while. I'd had enough of nursing and being a paramedic, and took a couple of years out and did that. And the vibe there was so cool. People were so into what they were doing, and you were encouraged to, enjoy your time. People would say, you can have me days off if I can do your, go to New York next week for you. It was great. And that's a sort of, how can I put it? As I say, give out what you want to get back, but it also, the karma thing. You go around life, if you help people, you're going to get back what you give out. And, if you see an old lady struggling, then pick a case up and carry it for you.
Yeah.
See if somebody falls over, be the first one to pick them up. Don't walk past people. There's people are too easy to judge people. Give somebody a break. Look after them, because one day it's going to be you needs looking after.
And I think as well with everyone's technology now, everyone's looking down, aren't they?
Oh God!
Headphones are in, especially on public
phones
transport.
On this, I'm guilty of it myself. My life is on my phone. Absolutely.
What I find is quite nice about aeroplanes is that there's no internet, obviously, so everyone is forced to put their phones in.
If you fly with Emirates and any of the big airlines now, there is internet.
Oh, there you go. Maybe not
straight up. No, wireless available. I'll tell you something that really stuck in my mind, and it wasn't very good actually. Something that I saw with a week back. It was a post on social media, and it was just this picture of this 70-year-old dude sat with who would have been his granddaughter, and they were sat in a cafe, which is what I've done with my kids, time and again. And they're sat each side of a table, and there's food there, and they've had a coffee or whatever. But he's sat looking at her, and she's sat looking at her phone. Mobile. And above it just says, "You're running out of time." And it's true,
You see it a lot.
Yeah.
Very, very common, doesn't it?
I look back at some of the relatives I've lost, and that was before phones, and the amount of times I've thought, I wish I'd told them this, wish I'd said that, wish I'd shown them this. And you don't, and you should.
It's a bit too late, yeah.
Yeah. You can only do what you're going to do. You don't know when it's game over. So, look after people, I'll tell you what I do, and my mum loves it. My mum lives down south, and I don't see her anywhere near as much as I should. But, through life's demands, it's sort of physically impossible. But what I do is I send her through an app on my phone between 50 and 100 photographs every month. And they're just like selfies and things I've taken pictures of or things I've been involved in. And she absolutely loves it, you know.
Yeah.
It don't cost me more than a couple of quid through this certain app, which you'll find if you look. Just...
It's about keeping in contact. Yeah, absolutely.
Keeping people in the loop.
And it's so easy to do now, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It's something I became really aware of with my deafness, that when you start to become deaf, initially you don't acknowledge it. It's like when you start losing your sight, you just put the newspaper a little bit further away. You know, and you think, oh, yeah, it'll be all right. Well, when you become deaf, initially you start to become aware that you're not hearing a full conversation. And that goes on and gets worse and worse and worse. What you do, two things happen. One is you don't listen to words, you listen to sentences, then try to pull out of the sentence what's actually been said. It's, you know, you'd say, ask somebody a question who's deaf, there's a longer pause before they answer because they're listening to the whole thing and then try to sort of decipher what you've asked. And the other thing is that you subconsciously pull yourself out of group conversations. Initially you do it on purpose because you think, well, I can't bloody hear this, so I'll just sort of exit the party a little bit and smile a lot and hope I don't smile in the wrong place. But then after a while you do it subconsciously. And it's not good, you know. As you get older, your social circle gets smaller, and you need to know what people are saying to you. You know, there is technology out there that'll help you out so much. Been in NHS for 30 years, I thought I'd be sort of quite au fait with what I could do and what was available for the hard of hearing, for the deaf, and you're not. There's so much more. Get yourself to a private hearing clinic. There's a really good one in Harrogate, the Hearing Suite. They looked after me brilliantly. And they're only too willing to show you what's available. You know, my granddad was deaf. He lived to 103. And
oh, wow.
He gives up. You know, you could see him give up. And a lot of that's down because he couldn't hear anything.
Yeah.
You know, but there's these hearing loops where you put this loop around your head. It looks like a set of headphones, to be honest. And then in the middle of the table there's something as big as a matchbox. And that will pick up what's been said and direct it to the hearing loop that somebody's wearing. And you make so much difference to somebody. You know, Christmas dinner, you imagine that, sat with all your family, you can't hear any of them. You know, it's not good. Again, it just comes out of looking after people and just having awareness. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, have an awareness of what's going on with them and what's going on with you, that you could perhaps make a difference to them.
Andy, thanks so much for coming on and chatting with us.
Absolute pleasure, mate.
Good luck with your show that's coming up in York Fashion Week, and hopefully chat to you soon.
Yeah, I love that. Nice one, mate. Thank you.
All right, see you soon.
Cheers.
Thanks for listening to the first episode in our podcast series. Make sure you subscribe to be notified when new episodes are released. My name's Chris Healy, and I've been your host. Thanks for joining us.